you doing today, guys? Today I want to make a video which is probably going to be titled something to the effect of I feel so stupid. I'm not sure if I got this axe from my father. I know there was a video I mentioned when I was a kid. My father and I split wood. I'm not sure if this is the axe that my father and I used back then, or if this is one I got for the landscape business. But needless to say, this axe was sitting in the back of my shed for probably 10 or 15 years, and I'm so glad I didn't get rid of it. The reason it was in the back of the shed was the axe head was loose. I was watching Buckin' Billy Ray Smith again, and boy, that guy, he's just got, you know, common sense, and I wish I had more of that sometimes. And he was making a video where he was splitting wood, and I was watching him split wood, and he was splitting these monster rounds with nothing more than an axe, you know. And I know I've been talking about my Wedges Maul and how awesome it is. He was using just an axe, and if you ever watch him split wood, he doesn't just go, you know, wailing away on these pieces. I mean, he wails, but there's a definite, he's aiming for a spot, and boy, he hits it. He catches those logs right on the edge, as close to the edge as he can. Now, this is 6.5 pounds, and this is 3.5 pounds. I've been using the 6.5 pounder, and a few weeks ago, I split for like 3.5 hours, and my wrist ended up being tired. Or actually, it was a little sore, and I've been going easy because I don't want to screw it up. But I said, you know, maybe if I use an axe, it would be better. So I went out, you know, got this axe, and the head jingled, but I tried it a few times, and it worked great. And I mean, yeah, there's a little more power with the Maul, and it doesn't stick quite as much. But the difference is I'm going to call it negligible between the axe and the Maul for the extra weight. Years ago, I did a review on a thing called the Super Splitter Maul, and I said I feel like I'm driving a sports car. And with this 3.5 pound head on this axe, I feel like I'm driving a sports car. I took some metal sandpaper, put some oil on it. There was a lot of rust on this head. I just scraped the rust off the head. It was loose. So I put a couple boards on the floor so that the handle wasn't resting on the floor, took a 2-pound sledge, nailed this in, you know, didn't take much, hammered this in. Once I hammered this in, I actually had a couple wedges left over. So if you guys take a look here, you can see I put a couple extra wedges in there. It wasn't even long enough that I had to remove any material. And then once I was done getting the head tight, and I was like, wow, this is a beautiful axe. I took some 60 grit sandpaper and sanded the handle. And you know, you can go finer. 60 grit, I mean, it's smooth. It's smooth. You know, I mean, this thing feels like, you know, glossy compared to 60 grit. So I think 60 grit is fine. And then and what really kind of surprised me is rather than, you know, be fancy and brush off all the dust, I just took a paper towel, some boiled linseed oil, you know, smothered it on the handle, and I mean, look at how, you know, how pretty this handle is. I guess this is why people flame them. I mean, look at the nice, it's just boiled linseed oil and, you know, wear. There was like, the wood on the outside of this handle was soft. It was sitting so long. I touched the edge up, but I didn't do much. And then today what I did is I went to the hardware store. I got a piece of metal flashing. It was 30 cents, and I got some electrical tape. And all I did was I cut the piece of metal flashing about halfway up the handle, and then I wrapped it like 3 times with electrical tape. And I mean, this axe, it's ready to go. I mean, it is really ready to go. And I want to thank, there's a video I'm going to put in the description of a guy who's he's got to be over in Europe somewhere, but he left a comment in one of my videos that I should really be putting a wrap. He saw the handle on my Wedges and said I should really be wrapping it to prevent stuff like this happening. And I watched this video, and he was using all kinds of different materials to wrap it, but every material he used, he just put electrical tape over it. So I think the secret is electrical tape. So I got Super 33 electrical tape, really nice stuff, put it on the handle. You know, it took a little while to cut the piece of flashing, but this axe is just so nice, so nice. And I've been, you know, you spend all those hours searching YouTube and going on websites looking for the perfect axe, and you know, everybody says Fiskars is the best. Well, Fiskars It's a light handle, it's a light axe with a long handle, kind of like this one. If this handle breaks, I thought I was going to have to put a new handle on it. I went and got a new handle. A new handle was 14 bucks. So for 14 bucks, if I screw up, if I break it, if maybe it had more dry rot, no big deal. But I'm just excited because, you know, one video I watched Buck and Billy Ray split wood, and another video I watched him, you know, fix a loose handle. And he just made it so simple. He's like, guys, you know, use your heads. What's the simplest way to get the job done? And sometimes, you know, I will admit I can overthink things. But he said, you know, use your head. What's the simplest way to get things done? And I was a little bit pissed off at myself because sometimes I do overthink. And don't get me wrong, that's just my process. I have to think of all options first. Not going to change. But he's like, take your axe, put it on the ground, bang the handle. He had to saw off the wood on top, and then he nailed his wedge farther down. And he said you could put some more wedges if you need to. That's what I did. It's like a brand new axe. I mean, I don't know, guys. I think this could be collector. What do you think I could get on eBay for this guy? I don't know, 80, 100 bucks? What do you think? Make an offer. But let's go outside, put it in some wood, and I'll show you the other thing I've been doing is I usually swing with my dominant hand in the back, which what happens is I end up using my dominant hand to try to put force, and I've been practicing with my dominant hand on top, and it's a faster swing. Like I can't do this very well like this, but it's a faster swing over here. But let's go put her in some wood and see how she looks. So guys, we got a cold front coming through. Last night it was raining. It was like 40, 45 and raining. In the middle of the night it switched over to snow, and like everything just like flash froze. So it's a little slippery. We got to be careful. But let's see how the new axe, the new old axe does in this piece of oak. Yeah, it didn't split. Oh, it did. Now this is red oak, and there's a knot in this one which may make it a little bit more tricky. Does the job, guys. If I had to choose between carrying a heavy maul or a 3.5 pound axe all day, well, not all day. That's never going to happen, but most of the day or for a few hours, I like this one. And I know usually on YouTube some guy says, yeah, you know, show me something with knots in it. Guys, if there's a lot of knots, you're not going to split it with this. You know, you can beat the hell out of it with something else. But if you got stuff without a lot of knots and you know where to hit it, this thing is pretty darn effective. I can't see the cracks because there's snow on the wood. When in doubt, find the middle of the log and go perpendicular. That's enough. Move to the other side. Got more control with my right arm at the back. I've got what seems like more power and less overdrive with my arms with my left hand at the back. It's more natural. You have to go overhead, but I can get more power this way. Oops. No knot. This is just, like I say, now these logs are pretty small. I mean, but this is just a pleasure. Stuff like this, it's just a pleasure to do, especially with the lighter axe, so I know I'm not screwing myself up. There's a crack right there. That's enough. I've got a little bit of adrenaline going. I'm pushing a little too hard here. All right, right there. Does the job, guys. This swing is also awkward because I think my left back muscles aren't quite as developed. And I got to be careful I don't pull something. But, you know, I think I'm done watching reviews of splitting mauls, trying to find the best maul. I think the secret is to get an axe with a 36-inch handle and just have at it. It really doesn't matter which axe. 3.5 pound head. It's just a pleasure. It's just a pleasure. So, thank you, Buck and Billy Ray, and thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you soon. Take care.